Now, the death toll from a refugee boat sinking off Greece keeps rising. At least 24 people are now confirmed dead. Most victims are children. An unspecified number of people remain missing. This is the second boat accident off Greece's coast over the past 2 days. The incident brings to 31 the number of refugees who have died while crossing the Aegean Sea from Turkey to Greece since Wednesday. Deadly sea accidents have killed a large number of people fleeing war and poverty in their homelands and seeking asylum in Europe. The ongoing refugee crisis is the biggest Europe has faced since World War II. Refugees are mainly from Iraq and Syria. To discuss that further, I'm joined by Wahid Azal, who is an independent scholar and political commentator, and he's joining us live now via Skype from Berlin. Wahid, thanks for joining us. This sort of goes back to our other story about those negotiations that are set to begin on Syria. Certainly, there's that connection here. Do you think people in Europe make that connection, though?
First of all, let me give my condolences, my heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost loved ones in this tragedy. To answer your question, well, no, actually most of the mainstream of Europe doesn't really make that connection at all. Right now, there are forces whipping up all kinds of hysteria in the mass media against these refugees. And this mass hysteria is actually then allowing European governments to basically get away with not fulfilling their obligations in terms of even giving the basic protection for passage of these refugees, so these sorts of incidents in the Aegean Sea don't happen.
Okay, Wahid, so I'm thinking at this point, as those Syrian negotiations are set to begin, and I want to go back to that point, of course,
Sure.
Do you think that the politicians, of course, European politicians especially, will take into account the fact that this refugee crisis is making life very hard for them as well?
Will they take into account? Of course, that's in the back of their mind. But you know, the politicians are not really the decision makers about this war in Syria, really. And you know, the way I'm reading the situation here in Europe is, you know, it's just a endless buck passing. You know, one day they claim that they're serious about negotiations with Syria and ending this war. The next minute, they're whipping hysteria over the refugees. Then they're, you know, blaming each other. You know, Greece, for example, does have a point that the EU is not really providing it with the kind of help it needs to cope with this crisis. But, you know.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there at that point, Wahid. But of course, as always, we do appreciate you speaking to us. That was Wahid Azal, who would be speaking to us live from Berlin.